I always make sure that before I go out, before I do any sort of event where I know there's gonna be drugs or alcohol, I always try and like set my mental limit of like, you know, I have to do this work tomorrow. It probably should be a night where I keep it to no drinks or keep it to only a few drinks, so that way I'm like pacing myself.
I've noticed that there's times where if I forget to eat, how much more it affects you.
Counting drinks and making sure you're keeping track of how much you're drinking is something a lot of people I know do.
When I first started drinking, I literally kept tally marks on my arm of the number of drinks I had with like a pen or a marker.
I try to wait between drinks because I know that even if something doesn't hit immediately, it will hit. Like I always was like, no, it's fake. Like if you don't feel it within 20 minutes, you're not gonna feel it at all. And like 40 minutes later, you're throwing up.
I think some people talk about if you're at a party or something, there's pressure to have something in your hand. If you're holding a cup, no one knows what's in it. So if you just have soda or water or things like that, that's something a lot of people do as well.
What I've learned over the years is to definitely like reflect on my drinking habits. So it's not like I'm perfect. There's been nights when like I've gone over and you know, I've blacked out before, and I have to like step back and say like, okay, what happened there? Like what went wrong? Why was that? What happened? How did I feel about it? What do I want to do in the future about it?
Wanting to have control of my thoughts is something that's really big for me. And when you bring in drugs and alcohol into the equation, now all of a sudden, if you've had too much to drink, you're not in control of what you're doing.
It had a lot to do with wanting to stay in control of myself and my actions and not wanting to give that control over to something that I didn't have any experience with.
Some nights it's knowing that the next morning or the next day I have a lot to do and I don't want to, you know, strip fun away from that next day and strip away my productivity.
A lot of times it'll be because like I'm tired or it seems like a lot of effort to go out when it's not worth it. Or if like I've been really stressed or upset lately, I'm like, this isn't gonna help me probably if I don't feel like I'll enjoy like being social.
Realistically, it takes a lot of money to pre-game twice a week, once a week, to go out on a consistent basis. So I was like, the money aspect, that's not me.
I'm allergic to like 95% of alcohol. So for me, like for my safety and health reasons, I try to avoid it.
We're all adults here in college. Everyone has autonomy over themselves, and I can't make anyone do something that they like don't want to do, essentially. And like, while I can be a friend and be a good peer, and like if I see behavior that I think is concerning or dangerous like for that person's health, I will let them know if I like know them well, in a respectful manner. But you know, I won't judge their character based on it.
If someone has too much to drink and like, so we have to step in and take care of them, it's not like, ugh, I had to save a life today, like that really sucks. It's like, I respect their decision to do whatever they want and I care about them, so I'm here for them if that goes wrong and if I need to step in.
As long as the people around me, especially my friends, are making informed decisions about what they're putting in their bodies, then I can respect that. And as long as they're doing their best to make sure they're not hurting other people, then that's fine by me.
We all kind of have fun in different ways and maybe we enjoy ourselves differently, and so for some of us that may be partaking in a party, social scene where there's drugs and alcohol. For other people that might just be spending time with each other and that hits the maximum for their level of enjoyment, or maybe that's all they wanted to do that night.
There's 4 main signs. They are if someone is vomiting while unconscious, if their skin and nails look blue or clammy, or pale, if their breathing is slow or irregular, and if they cannot be woken up.
If someone's unresponsive, if they're having trouble kind of walking and standing up straight.
If they aren't remembering their night, if they're making decisions that normally they probably wouldn't make.
I'll look at how they're talking and whether they're talking at a normal pace for them, or if they're stumbling or slurring, or if they'll start a sentence and forget it.
I think that there are some obvious signs which are easy to spot with anyone, but knowing your friends and knowing what maybe like the drunk version of this person looks like can be a good way to keep an eye out on them.
if you see someone that you find concerning and, you know, maybe you're the only one who sees that, or you are like the only one who's like thinking that, chances are that's not true. There are probably other people who are also concerned, but they, you know, also feel reservations. They don't want to like ruin the party. They don't want to ruin their night, or they don't want to like take responsibility for the person's actions. But I think if you can just find like one person, I think that's like a great step to like have someone on your side and be able to take those next steps.
If they're still like awake and walking around, but they seem to be intoxicated past the point of safety, then you can like try to talk to them and see if they're responding to you. And if they're passed out and non-responsive, like you shake them and wake them up and they're not waking up, then call 911. Like that's just very basic. Don't even think about it, just do it.
Exactly according to Northwestern's policy would be call, stay, cooperate. So the first thing that seems really obvious that people don't always know is call 911, right? Like that seems, okay, yeah, everyone will call 911. But in the moment you might think like, oh, we need to like give them water or turn them over or get friends out of the way or something. And it's always call 911 because when they're on their way is when you can do all the other things.
You stay with the person, make sure that you have information on them as much as you can get, based on like what they've been drinking, like who are they, if they came with anyone, putting them in the recovery position or like a safer position if that's needed for them.
And then once the help arrives, giving them as much information as you can, not worrying as much about the fact that there's alcohol there or like hiding things and stuff like that, but just making sure that that person gets the help that they need.
And essentially, if you follow those 3 steps, then you are able to gain amnesty from the university. You won't face any disciplinary action.
Even if you were partaking in that illegal activity, drinking underage or using drugs, you'll get amnesty for it because you did the responsible thing.
Just having a conversation with someone because you care about them and telling them that that's why you're talking to them and it's not an intervention that they need to stop or that you're trying to intervene on their behalf because you know what's better for them, but just reaching out to someone who you care about.
Just having that conversation, that person might actually not be realizing that their behavior is like not as healthy as it could be, I guess.
If they're like really steadfastly like, no, I don't have a problem, I think that the way I'm living is perfectly fine and I can't believe you would even say that to me, then it's a little tougher because you don't want to feel like a bad friend, but if you really believe that there's an issue there, then the healthiest thing for them is to really keep pushing and like encouraging them to maybe seek professional help. If they're not willing to talk to you about it, there are resources at Searle and there's HPAW and like there's lots of stuff on campus.
I think it's easy to just come to the health promotion and wellness office and talk to an individual about how to talk to my friend about it, because that way I can have like tips and tricks on asking them to like just come and attend or like talk to one of the individuals here to see where they are.
Some of the resources that we do have are in HPAW, so we have basics. So that's essentially where you go and you talk to someone, an HPAW staff member, about your alcohol and substance use. You talk about what you're doing, how you can make them healthier, if you're low risk or high risk, etc. What are behaviors in the future that can help you to improve your behaviors.
Something that I feel like a lot of students don't realize is that like the HPAW staff, you're not gonna be like, don't drink, you're gonna get in trouble, it's illegal, don't drink ever.